tomorrow, I should be able to program this to the car, have a functioning remote and a functioning key. That means I don't have to go to a Land Rover dealership because of a transponder. Got the new remote in. Take the guts out of this, put it in the remote that I already made. All right, it is test time. Okay, I'm gonna try this method that's used for the L320. On, off, hold down, unlock. 1, 2, 3, let go, nothing. I've tried this a few times, it's not working, so I'm gonna try next method. All right, everybody, following the failure of not being able to program my key, I decided I am going to just add keyless entry. And since I hate how the ignition is set up on this car, I'm gonna also go with a push start. This is a super cheap push start keyless entry system. It has remote start, but I keep hearing a lot of reading the reviews. There's some electrical issues with this, so I'm not going to do the remote start part. I want to limit this to keep it as simple, as easy as possible. So again, just push start and just keyless entry, and hopefully that's it. I specifically chose this one because it has a remote that can hold a blade style key in it. And then I got some wiring because some have to connect all the way over there, and then some have to connect right here by the ignition. To start out, I'm gonna drop this glove box down. On both sides of the glove box, there are rails that are holding it down, and you have to like push, kind of lift up at the same time. So you're gonna grab the rails, lift up a little bit, and then push in with your thumbs, and then it'll drop down. So push up, and then it just drops down. So there's a bunch of wiring right through here, okay? So let me show you the wires that I'm going to use. All right, right here is a pink and red wire. This is my power lock wire. Right beside that was a yellow with pink wire. That is my power unlock. Okay, purple and orange. This is for the horn. All right, so this is showing black and gray. This is supposed to be for the trunk release. This is green and red. This is for the hazards. Okay, coming in from the driver's side, this is the wire that's supposed to be for the door trigger. It's underneath here, and I have a screwdriver right there. All right, this is supposed to be black and brown. It looks black and orange right there. All right, this is actually a video that's going to be in the future, but I'm showing it to you in the past because you need to understand, because I've figured this out later on. Coming out of the door over here, you've got a bunch of twisted green, white, and green wires. If you go over to this harness back here, there is a bunch of twisted green, white, green, and in that same bundle is this black and brown wire. So it is in the same bundle as the green, white, green twisted wires, okay? And that is our door switch wire, and that's what I'll be tapping into. So this just pops off. All right, 225 down here. This is the part that detects your key, this black ring. So you're gonna have to force this down. Now, I've already I've already broken the tab that holds that in place. But here's that piece. It's supposed to have a clip up here that will hold it on top. But this is what detects your key, okay? But as far as the wiring is concerned, let's take a look over here. Right here is the ignition wiring in this harness here. I am gonna have to unplug these to do it. Gonna unhook these. Clips here, clip on the bottom of this one. The clip is on the bottom. And then this one is actually side mounted. And it's still tricky. There we go, okay. And now it is loose. And voila. There is my ignition wires, right there. Brown is constant 12 volt. Yellow is ignition 1. Starter is white red. Accessory 1 is white. And then that's it. So it's just those 4 wires. And those are the things that I'm going to tap into to get all this going. There is a panel. It's 2 screws that's underneath here. Just undo the 2 screws over here. Drops down to the other side. There's another panel. 2 screws that bolt into the front this time. That drops down. The wires will come through here, go up to the side, and go exactly where I showed you that harness was a little bit ago. Saw this in another video, an install video. I'm just gonna take a drill and I'm gonna spin it. There we go. All right. Now, so obviously have the line running through here. Now it's popping out there, but to get there, here's the blower motor, and I fed it right up through there. And now I have complete access to the wires that are gonna be on this side. Let's just use this as an example. But this will be, let's say this is the existing wire. This is going to wrap around it. It's going to clip down like that, okay? That will go into one of these. And once all this is clipped together, it will just plug in like that. And now you've got a connection. So I got those all clipped in. I'm going to start putting these on to each wire. If you buy these T-clips things, the other thing that could happen is the blade that's inside here is bent down, and you want to try and get that centered in each one, or else it's not going to plug in to the piece. So black one is going to go to gray black. Blue one is going to go to purple orange. Green is going to green orange. Yellow black, black with the Sharpie, is going to pink red. And solid yellow is going to yellow pink. There's that. So now it's on to the next, whoop, let's zoom out. Now it's on to the next side. So one of the other things that I forgot to mention was I'm gonna have to tap into the brake line. Obviously that's the brake, right? When you go underneath, right underneath it, there's this blue and white plug. That's what plugs into the brake. And then you have this harness. One of them, this is a little confusing, one of them is purple with a green stripe. The other one is green with a purple stripe. So the one I'm looking for is green with a purple stripe, not purple with green. So it must be this one. But I'll test that out and make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be that one. Say T20 Torx. So this is a 11 socket. All right, so that comes off. Okay, yeah. And then 2 clips, remove it. So here's my issue right now. I'm not convinced that wire up here is black brown. I think that it's black orange. I see several black orange wires, and I think that's a black orange wire. It's not black brown. All right, not that you really need to see this, but here is what it is. This is going, green is going to the brake. Red is going to the door switch. Okay, time for wiring to the alarm harness. All right, I had to run to the store and get a bunch of butt connectors. So let's get started on connecting butts. And then looking here, pop this off. Looking here, looks like there's plenty of spots where I can hook up ground wires. So that will be real easy. Okay, so if anybody can help me out, I don't know what this is and where it came from. All I know is when I opened that thing up, this just came falling out, and I don't know where it goes. And it's bugging the crap out of me because I'm hoping I didn't unplug something that I wasn't supposed to, but I technically didn't unplug it because it just fell out. But it was like tucked inside here somewhere. And I've looked to try and find out where it could have plugged into, but I can't find it. So if anybody can help me out, that would be fantastic. Sweet, figured so. That's how I do it. All right, come in with my tool. Came in with the tool like this. Okay, came in with the tool like that. Used my hand above to kind of hold things in place. Got the wire in there and then squeezed it to separate the wires. Something like this. Okay, small screwdriver, and I'm going to make a hole in between the wires. Flat screwdriver, wiggling my way through the wire so I'm not cutting any wires. And then twisting it to open it up and make a nice wide hole for when I pass a wire through there. So that was the yellow one. I don't know if you can see it, but I have this wire passing through that hole that I made. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is wrap this wire around that hole. So the outcome looks like that. Okay, so I passed it through the hole that I made in the wire, and then I wrap it around, and that's what I'm going to do for all of them. So that's the next step. Okay, and then you tape them. It's saying with this last wire, this white one, which is considered accessory, I'm supposed to cut this, connect it to the aftermarket harness, and leave it disconnected from the starter. All right, here's what I'm thinking. If I got to cut this white wire. I'm gonna put on some connectors so that if it doesn't work, I can just reconnect the existing wiring back together, you know? All right. All right, sorry. Had to go turn on the Cowboys game for my daughter and her friends. It's freaking hot out here. All right, I supposedly have power to it. I don't know. Let's just try. What's up? All right, I want to show you what I'm working on. This is the panel that's on the other side of the steering wheel. Had this little vent thing in there, and so there's little squeeze clips. I just popped the vent out, manipulated the back of the button guard to go in here, and now it looks pretty freaking good. Okay, so just installed that button thing. All right. Nice. Okay, so now I have to do the Immobilizer aspect of this. So I'm gonna have to open this key up, and let me do that right now. I am going to cover this in electrical tape. Oh good, the mosquitoes are back. That's what I love to see. All right, so here it is, covered in electrical tape. There are 2 grooves, one here, one here. You're going to set it with the transponder on the inside and onto the bottom groove, and you're just going to tape all this up, okay? All right, that's our ugly finished product. Okay, so I put it back together, kinda. Let's test it. Press the gas. Brake. Rock and roll. So I have this ring from my old push to start system, and this ring like fits perfectly right here. So if I could get a piece of plastic that just covered this hole, then it would just look nice and clean. I'll just super glue that down, or not super glue, hot glue that down, and this would look real nice. Okay, so this is actually the next day, but I want to show you just a few things that I figured out with this system that I installed. So obviously it unlocks. This is our setup. I installed that thing I told you about. So there's one of the annoyances right there. It just automatically will lock after a few seconds if you don't do anything. And that stinks. All right, but put on the gas, press it once, it turns the car on. Press it again, it goes into, I guess, sort of like, I don't know what mode this is considered. Let me turn this down. And then press it a third time, and that's what's going to start the car. Press it again, and that will turn it off. Again, you have to have your foot on the brake when you start it and when you turn it off. I do have a weird thing that's saying my, let's see if it turns on. Let me see if this shows.
Over 24 hours, 365 days.
Parking brake fault. If I do the parking brake, what is that, lift it up? Okay. Let me see, is it gonna let me go? Yeah, see, it's not gonna let me go because the parking brake still works. It's just saying that there's a fault, but it still works. So that part's kind of odd. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it works as intended. The other thing that I noticed is if I didn't cover the keyhole and I started it with the key, then it's going to auto lock on me. If I use the push start, then everything's fine. So that's also kind of weird that it's doing that, but it is what it is. Right now, again, I have the keyhole covered. You do have to follow the instructions where you put the key in and basically unlock the steering wheel. And what was happening is when you have the key in the ignition, when you turn it to unlock position number 1, that's what unlocks the steering wheel. But when I would close the door and lock the car is still on, and that's because of that green and white key sense wire, and that's why you have to cut that, so it doesn't detect the key actually in the ignition at that point. So that's the purpose of that. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, this is doing what I needed to do. The automatic lock thing is kind of annoying, but at the same time, I guess it's a good thing, because it is going to lock the car and try and keep it as secure as possible, considering everything you have to do to get this going. All right, talk to you later, bye.